I don't care if you're a plumber, a cook, a producer, a quarterback, doesn't matter. If you don't leave the world a better place, you blew it.
This is Entrepreneurs the Playbook, where I give you access each week to the world's greatest athletes and executives about their personal and professional playbook and what has made them champions on and off the field. This is the Playbook. Hi, this is Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports One Marketing with Entrepreneur the Playbook, and I have a very special, unique guest today, a true entrepreneur in a different field than normal. We don't have the super Hall of Famers of sports, but I'm nicknaming this podcast The Spirit of Excellence, and when you find out why, you're really going to enjoy it. But I'm here with Ming Tsai, Hall of Fame chef.
Welcome to Blue Dragon.
If you wonder why I look this way, it's because of great chefs like this. And I'm going to get to eat after this, so if it's a fast podcast, you know why. Well, Ming, for those people that don't know who you are, give me a little bit of background on where, I've read some of it, but tell me what you do and where you come from.
So, I'm first a chef, right? You're at Blue Dragon. We're 5 years old here. We did have Blue Ginger for 20 years in Wellesley. We actually just closed, which I'm very proud of. We had a great 20-year run. Most restaurants close because they have to. We actually closed because we wanted to. It was just the right timing, and we wanted to leave on top. And people are like, oh, you weren't making money? The lease is no good. No, I was making money, and the lease was great. Actually, the landlord wanted me to stay longer, but I have other things I'm doing. So being a chef of a restaurant, why? I was, still am, and will always be hungry. That's why I'm a chef. Literally, I'm 3 years old, 4 years old. I'm in the kitchen. My parents, my grandparents would throw me scraps. I thought the fire, the smoke, the chopping, the noise, the smells was like, this is what I want to be.
And what does your name mean? Because I think I read something. What's the definite?
Funny enough. So Ming Tsai, in Chinese it's Tsai Ming. Yeah. Tsai, my last name, actually means dish. Plate, a dish in Chinese food. It also can mean vegetable, but really Tsai is a dish. Ming is actually the combination of the sun and the moon. So because of that, there's always light, so it means brilliant. So my name actually means brilliant dish.
This is why you always
doesn't always translate.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so it's a good name for a chef, put it that way. But just as important as being a chef, I'm certainly a proud husband of Polly, my great wife, and father of two fantastic boys, David and Henry. They're 18 and 16.
Great name.
But my background's a little bit different because I did, like a good Chinese boy, like any good Jewish boy or any other good immigrant, you came to this country, you got to be three things: doctor, lawyer, engineer. Education, education, education. My dad is still at 88, works full-time at Stanford. He's the foremost graphite composite materials designer in the world.
That's a lot of pressure.
He was the chief scientist at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, which is why I ended up living there.
You gotta stop there. You gotta hear this. So we have reverse roles. Okay. I was born, my mom's from Dayton, but I was born in Akron, Ohio. Nice. My grandparents lived in Dayton. Nice. And I moved to Southern California. You were born in
Newport Beach,
and then moved
to Dayton.
I got the better deal, I think.
You were much better, but then I got out, and my parents got out. They went to Palo Alto. I came to Boston. So anyways, I studied engineering, but while in engineering, and I have to digress because my mom had a Chinese restaurant called the Mandarin Kitchen in Dayton, Ohio. So that was my summer type job, age 14, 15, 16. That's when I fell in love with the restaurant bug. That if you serve people with really good food at a great price with a big smile, you got a customer for life. And I loved that I could serve people and make them happy through food. That's truly why I'm a chef. So fast forward, I'm in college studying mechanical engineering, and I'm going to France. My dad's partner, Thierry Massard, lived in Paris.
You didn't go to any college. You went to an Ivy League.
I went to Yale, yeah.
And you were an athlete?
I was an athlete, yeah. I played squash at Yale. I played pro squash in France.
All Ivy League. Right, you're a good squash player, All-American, yeah.
We're gonna be
but I want to build the spirit of excellence, right? So there's some people who love to eat, and there's some people who love to serve people, and we see them. But you're a person who lived under what I call the Jewish guilt law. So you were oppressed, so you went to Andover, I think, and then to Yale, and squash. You were All-American. This is important because I meet so many Hall of Famers of professions, and throughout their life, they carry a spirit of excellence. And that's what it takes to have a top restaurant.
On that point for squash, it's my dad. Again, my dad's really, truly a genius, one of the only geniuses I've ever met. Not because of my dad, because literally, I mean, I literally saw him on a cocktail napkin. Hey, B1 bomber. I mean, practically, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's pretty good, Dad.
It's like Leigh Steinberg smart.
Can you build me a better golf club? And which he does.
Which he does. Nice.
He does everything graphite. But I was a tennis player. I played since I was 3 years old, and I had dreams of playing Wimbledon U.S. Open. And I was good at Andover. I was 2 or 3, but my 10th grade year, I'm doing tennis and soccer, and I played basketball because I thought, hey, I could play basketball with the boys. No, I couldn't. I'm practicing my foul shots, and these guys at Andover come in from all over the country, and they're dunking the ball and making threes like they're nothing. I'm like, okay. My dad smartly says, look, you're really good with your hands. Why don't you try squash? His ulterior motive was squash, really good, can get you into Yale, where he went, where my grandfather went.
I love that.
If my son gets in, he'll be fourth generation, right? So there's a lot of blue blood, so to speak. Yale, 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 Yale.
So it's now Ming Tsai Stein.
You're
like Moonstein and Meltzer. We got a law firm.
Or Ming Tsai is the other way. That's the other way.
Better, that's better, good.
Ming Tsai is good. And so, to the point of the excellence is, I'm like, okay, let me try squash. Squash was perfect for me because by yourself, in a court at any time, you can get better at squash. And like tennis, you need a tennis ball machine and this and that. Squash, you can bang rails all day long, and that's what I did. And I don't care if you're a Hall of Fame athlete, I don't care if you're a chef, it doesn't matter. If you do not hone your skill until it's muscle memory, for me, it's cooking, right? I don't have to, I don't think when I cook, I'm thinking about the flavor, but I'm not thinking about, okay, now I have to flip the food over, I have to hold the knife. Ditto for squash, ditto for a quarterback. They don't think, how do I have to turn my wrist to throw the spiral? No, they're looking at where the receiver is. So squash, I could do that, and markedly, you could see the improvement by yourself. Either you're hitting the rail quarter inch from the wall or you're not. And I love that because without anyone, besides the first time showing me how to do the stroke, you could get to the point, because once you get to a certain level of anything, you can't rely on your mind thinking about how you do that. That has to be muscle memory, because the excellence comes in because you're focused on how do you make that stroke or that dish excellent, because everything else is already born into your regime. You know what I mean? So that's in your DNA that I can do it to this level. Now, how do I get to the excellence level? That's because I have extra time.
I'm going to interrupt you because I have this theory. It's called the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit, enjoyment of the pursuit of your potential. And here's my theory, is that you get 10,000 new inputs or thoughts a day, and that goes into your cellular memory. And that's why you practice golf, you get better, squats, you get better. But then if you keep doing it, it goes into the 40,000 subconscious thoughts that you have. Now you create neural pathways in your mind. That creates more efficiencies, effectiveness, and success. Now the interesting thing you just mentioned is you said it goes into your DNA, which I believe, because I believe if you practice a lot and you hone your skills and you stay focused, it goes conscious, subconscious, into your unconscious, which is the electrical current in your DNA. And it actually, that's your fingerprint in life, your code. And your dad probably gets this better than anyone because he's smarter than I am. But that code, and the cool thing about that code is that when you talk about the generations of Yale, grandpa, dad, and you, well, when you have that spirit of excellence in your code, it's cool because you can actually create a physical legacy for your son David, and right? Is that amazing?
I concur completely, David. I think what you're saying is so right. And look, and we're talking about athletes, and I'm very athletic, right? I love reading about the best athletes in the world. So the one thing in common that I've read and I know, because my brother-in-law, Mark Talbot, was the world champion in squash for 12 years straight. No one touched him. This is hardball, right? Softball is a squash played around the world, but back in the hardball era, Mark Talbot was #1. And there's no professional athlete that's been #1 for over a decade in any sport. Maybe a biathlete.
If Tiger didn't cheat on his wife, I think he had a shot.
I think Tiger had a great shot. And yeah, we'll see.
Karma's a bee. Sorry, Tiger.
No. But I lost my point. What were we talking about?
Consistency and going into your DNA, and that skill set of practicing, and that the hard bar, the champion.
Oh yeah. So one thing that I learned, the elite athletes, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, Mark Talbot, the one thing they had in common is they saw everyone else in slow motion. They had that extra half second, Gretzky to fake, and boom. Jordan was still going up as people were going down. Just that extra half second, makes an athlete an elite athlete, right? And
success.
they can just because it's so ingrained in their DNA, skating left, right, puck, boom. They don't have to think about that. They get to look at the whole picture and worry about that. And because they have that extra half second, they become the greatest.
And now you carry that over into all areas of your life, right? You've been doing this for years, from school.
Yep.
You're even golf that you practice at, but it's not your profession.
Practice.
Then you have the restaurant business, and it is a skill, and it's not just the actual being a chef. And I've seen you cut and move,
right.
you know, but everything that you do has the spirit of excellence. I mean, one of the unique things that you probably didn't realize in your life you were going to do, but you won an Emmy Award. Right,
Yeah,
so
I did not realize you were going to win Emmy, right?
A TV star.
I barely knew what an Emmy was when I got it. I
you didn't
did
get
know,
into
but
cooking to be on TV.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, and I certainly didn't. By the way, if you're going to interview with me, don't ever say this, because a guy said this to me. I go, why do you want to be a chef? I want to be famous. Well, that's a really stupid reason to want to be a chef. As opposed to I want to make fantastic food and feed the masses, right? That guy was not hired, for the record.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be on TV. I never dreamt of being on. I just wanted to cook, but I loved always teaching. Taught tennis, taught skiing, just taught little kids. I loved little kids, so when an opportunity came, and I knew in the back of my head, because Food Network first started, I knew the irrational power TV. I knew if you're in that black box, and there's a lot of great chefs, but those 10 of us that are in there, we're the best chefs. It's not true.
Right.
But to the masses,
perspective.
in East-West cuisine and Asian cuisine, because I've been in the box for 20-something years, I'm the expert. And the one thing I do love is, funny enough, and my dad's proud of this, because as you know, I have a mechanical engineering degree, but I'm a cook, chef. I'm now, because I'm on Home Shopping Network, HSN, I'm now designing kitchen equipment, which is so cool. So
does your dad help you? Is it grab equipment?
No, PV goes on RT, right? Centrifugal force when you're drying French fries, let the oil come out. Induction cooking, which is magnetic resonance. Pressure cooking, all of that. Now when I'm designing stuff, I want to design this called the auto wok. I want something that can cook for you. Right,
Like, the Wealthy. Have you seen that brand? It's a new brand, organic brand. They put these centrifugal force on their side, and they walk it. So you fill up your stuff into a bucket, and then you throw it into the
and then
it flips it, and then it's done. And they put a timer on it.
There's a restaurant that just opened that only robots cook your food.
Nah, that's not.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. But the point is that even though my first thing on HSN was 2 knives for $20, right? It's called the Arrow knife. And it's a big joke amongst all my chef friends, because I'm in CVS and all those things, and in the can't open Larry David plastic packets, right? And they gave me so much crap. They're like, dude, you sold out, and blah, blah, blah. But then they hear, because it was public information. So once I went on HSN, I just want best of class. This is not the best knife money can buy. It's a $10 knife, but it's the best $10 knife you can get. It's stainless steel forged. It has no holes, so nothing sticks to it. And I'm going on. This is true. This is public. I'm slicing away, and I'm looking at the camera, and I have a host, and I'm on for the 5 minutes, and the host is like, 5,000 sold. I'm like, excuse me? And you see the ticker, it was at 4,900. I'm like, really? So I start smiling, slicing harder, and I'm like, I need more cucumbers. And it was so much fun. And now I'm in my 5th year doing this, and I love it because I actually get to now bring and level the playing field of all the great equipment I use in the restaurants in my home, now for you at home at a half the cost, because HSN has a great business model. You can get the Technolon Plus, non-stick, blah, 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 induction burner, pressure cooker, all these things at half at a box store, because they don't carry inventory. So it's a great model.
Now, you're a great businessman, which a lot of people fail, and they're great chefs,
right,
but they are horrible business people.
Yeah, and to your point of excellence, yes, there's what, I'm going to say 500 chefs who are at this level. And there's a couple, there's 10 that are certainly clearly above me. Thomas Keller, Grant Atkins, those guys, which is, I'm so proud to call them friends. But out of the 500, maybe a half are good business people. Right. And it doesn't matter how great cook you are. If you're P&L and your bottom line is 0 or negative, I don't care how delicious that foie gras shumai is, you're losing money. So excellence comes into not only doing great food, but running the business smartly, which is fully understanding the business, which is why after I cooked in Paris, after graduating from Yale, because I wanted to play pro squash because I was decent, I wanted to cook, I came back to Cornell and did the hotel school. Because I wanted to learn
the top hospitality school.
Yeah, it was a fantastic 2-year master's program to learn all the other aspects I had no clue about. PR marketing, what does that look like? Construction, what should you be spending per kitchen? You know, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars per square foot? How do you make a P&L? How do you read a P&L? And what's important in the P&L? And then with that knowledge, getting my master's, I said, look, I got to practice this, but I'm not going to do it with my money yet. Let's go work for a hotel. So I opened the Hotel Intercontinental in Chicago. I opened 3 restaurants there. Tons of rookie mistakes, other people's money. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just like I made mistakes, right? But thank God, because you want to make the mistakes with other people's money. And I knew when I was going to do my own restaurant, ideally, most of the mistakes were made. And if anyone's going to open a business, the 2 most important things, cash flow and cash flow.
Thank you.
That's it.
Entrepreneurs ask me all the time, number 1 piece of advice is Mr. Meltzer. I say, stay in business. My first goal every day is to be in business tomorrow. First rule, I need to have enough money to stay in business. Everything else doesn't matter if I don't have the money tomorrow
100%.
to be in business. And if I'm not focused in on that, I'm missing the ball.
And the way you keep cash flow positive is when you raise your money, you have to take out a percentage of the money such that when you open, you have money, which means you cannot be late, which means I was here every day at Blue Ginger for the 6-month build on every single day to make sure the GC and everyone was there and to make sure they were on it and to answer the questions on the spot. They're like, chef, you know, the plans have a sink here and a sink there. We busted the walls, the piping's over here. If you put the 2 sinks here, it's going to save us 17 man-hours, which translates to $4,000. What do you want to do? Put the 2 sinks over there. But if you're not there, they're going to do it according to plan, and then if they find something, you end up late. If you open 2 months late, you already have your P&L that you're going to do whatever, $14,000 a week for those 2 months. So you're already behind the 8 ball. So I always say if you're going to open a restaurant, you have to have enough cash flow to pay your full payroll for 3 months with 0 covers. Everyone thinks they're going to do 300 covers the first night. It doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't. That's not reality. And by the way, that staff who's awesome, 50% are gone within a month because they're not awesome. So that turnover costs money. So cash flow, but be there and open on time. When you hear these projects, you know, these huge projects in Hawaii, a year behind, a year late and $4 million over budget. Oh my God, it'll take them 10 years just to break even. So you gotta be there, which also means you gotta make sure it's realistic. I want to open this in a month. Dude, it's gonna take 2. Right. So you want to pay contractors OT and work Sundays, and you can get it open, but now you're $1 million off.
Right. Now, what I like about the restaurant business is the mentorship component.
Yep.
Right? It's just built, the system of restaurants is in mentorship. You have
100%.
chefs work their way up.
Yep.
Who are your mentors?
It's a great question. So my first, without being too woo-woo here, my parents, because both of my parents are awesome cooks, right? And they taught me the most important thing, which is not cooking. The most important thing is enjoy food. Make time to enjoy food, right? Yeah. Period. And that's, not every person in this world enjoys food. Some people just eat because they have to live. Right?
I wish I was like that.
But you sure?
Yeah, I enjoy it too much. Yeah. I enjoy it too much.
So enjoy food scheme. But professionally, Pierre Hermé, who's still today reputed to be the best pastry chef in the world, was my first mentor in France because I really wanted to learn about desserts and pastry. Because in Chinese cuisine, we had nothing. So I was a really good Chinese cook going to Paris, and I knew how to cut, and I knew how to flip food, but mine was in a wok, theirs is in a saute pan. Similar skill set, right? But the techniques are completely different, right? We wok, stir, oil, boom, 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 basically that's it. That's Chinese food for the most part. I'm not belittling it. I mean, there's a lot of nuances of it, but there's not the myriad of techniques, at least in the hot cooking part. Pastries, the French, the Swiss, the Germans so excel over Asian cuisines, right? We have a couple desserts and fresh fruit. So Pierre was just this most unbelievable pastry chef that has shops all over called Hermé in Japan, as well as, of course, all over France. and just the nicest, humble guy. That is just he has mentored probably 1,000 pastry chefs to date.
Which has elevated himself.
Yeah. I did do I got 3 months in Osaka. So Kobayashi was my sushi master, which was an unbelievable experience to be able to get into a great Japanese restaurant. And again, he knew I could cook. I made them food. And once you taste someone's food, you're like, okay, well, you can cook. I'd be happy to show you. That was unbelievable because he's really, I mean, for me as a Chinese American to be able to work with a sushi master in Japan was awesome. Today, some of my best friends are still my mentors. So Thomas Keller. Excellence is his middle name. I mean, there's not a single, for example, I just ate at Friends Lunch. I was cooking at the CAA Greystone 2 weeks ago. And I'm sitting there with it was 4 of us, my chef came with me. And TK is a great friend. So he's like, the chef who's not here, he just had knee surgery, would love you to have a bottle of champagne outside. Is that okay? It's no problem. So we're the only people in the patio, everyone else is inside. They saber the bottle, it happened to be 2006 DP as well, saber the bottle without losing any, and they come over, and the waiter, she comes over, puts a glass down for Christine, my chef, puts a glass down for me, and she goes, Chef, I'm so sorry, this is a little bit warm, I'll be right back. And had to say that because if she like left, I'd have been like, wait, I want a glass of champagne too.
Right.
And that's the way TK trained. I mean, it was literally probably 5 degrees too warm. But if we were spending $200-something on a bottle of champagne, 5 degrees, that doesn't work. That's not excellence. And there's not a dish that he cooks that's not excellent. It's unbelievable.
And you as well. Well,
oh my God.
Last question, real quick. With the spirits of excellence, and you're such a family man and a humanitarian, we didn't get into all the philanthropic stuff.
We do want to talk about that a little bit.
But yeah, I want to know, with family reach, what legacy, because that's really what you're about, this legacy that you want to leave.
I love this question. So I've always defined success. When I was a kid, because I had a great life. We weren't rich, but I ate every day, 3 times a day. I had sheets and shower and a roof over my head, and my parents luckily took us traveling to Asia, to Europe when we were young, because my dad traveled a lot. I always said, if I can give my children at least what my parents gave me, I'm a true success, right? So I'm well on my path to that. Maybe even ahead of the curve, Mom and Dad, but just saying. Only because—
Good competition.
Yeah, a great competition. But that was my first definition of the true success. Now my definition, I still think you got to do at least what your parents did for you. But true excellence and true success is if you leave your mark. I tell my kids, this is no free ride. There's no coasting here, guys. You've had everything given to you. Food, shelter, education. If you don't make something from that, and I don't care if you're a plumber, a cook, a producer, a quarterback, doesn't matter. If you don't leave the world a better place, you blew it. You have to leave your mark. And if that's the Boy Scouts or Big Brothers or Family Reach, we're the only national chair that financially helps families with a child with cancer. It's the #1 cause of personal bankruptcy in this country today, cancer. And through my cooking live events, which I do all over the country, like San Francisco this Friday, I personally have raised $6 million over 7 years. And that, besides my children, is really the proudest thing I've done. And these kids that I meet, and I know this is going a little bit long, but this story is so important. Single mom Raquel with the son Michaelo. He was born 2 months into his life, developed cancer. Single mom. They get through it, he survives, cancer remission, she uses all her savings. Fine. 2 years later, cancer comes back. When cancer comes back for a child, it's 10 times worse than the first time. So now she's broke. They live 2 years in a homeless shelter while Michaela's getting chemo and radiation. Just let that sink in. None of us probably, you probably not. I've never lived in a homeless shelter, and I certainly never lived in a homeless shelter with my kid dying of cancer. The kicker was the doctor, the oncologist, told Raquel, your son needs a bone marrow transplant to live. Unfortunately, because of your sanitary conditions of a homeless shelter, we cannot administer, it won't stick. Sorry. You cannot tell a mom, sorry, your son's gonna die when there's a cure. That's when family stepped in and says, BS, here's your apartment back for a year. Do not worry about that. Take care of your kid. This story ends up great. He's 9 years old. He just celebrated 6-year remission. I'm gonna see him at Cooking Live in Boston next Monday. Every time I see him, this kid gives me the biggest hug. I know I helped save that kid's life. That's why I'm here. That's it.
the Ming Mark and Mr. and Mrs.
Tsai.
Tsai. Sorry, I got choked up.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm sighing.
I do too.
You should be proud, and I'm proud to be your friend.
Thanks, brother.
My favorite part in my mark, the Meltzer mark, is the entrepreneur, the playbook, because I get to really amplify what the spirit of excellence is. And,
Thank you.
And you encompass that, and anything I can do to help. You know, we raise a lot of money as well. I'd love to get involved to help family.
Yeah, I think Warren Moon can run me a big fat check like this big, like that.
Unfortunately, Dave Meltzer will write it, but...
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know why I'm asking you. You pay him, don't you? Sorry, Warren, never mind. Drop.
Exactly.
Boom.
Anyway, what a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneur, the Playbook.